From author Brian K. Morris comes a classic hero in a high-flying, fast-paced, and action-packed steampunk adventure. The original SKYMAN battles the master of steam. With an introduction by comics icon and historian Roy Thomas. A Rising Tide, an Ace Comics publication. Available now in print or digital format on Amazon.com.
Welcome to issue 14 of Comic Book Spectrum.
Welcome to Comic Book Spectrum, a Rising Tide Broadcast Network production. Get ready to explore the world of comics, past, present, and future, with our panelists Eric Hawkins, Brian Rodman, and Clyde Hall. And now here's your host, Brian K. Morris.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to issue 14 of Comic Book Spectrum for May 27th, 2021. Thank you all for being here. Whether you're watching us on the rerun or watching us live, we appreciate you all. For the next hour or maybe hour and a half, let's talk comic books. What do you say? First of all, we want to thank Plasma Fire Graphics. Plasma Fire Graphics, they sponsored the show, and they are a great group of people to work with. Actually, it's one guy, but he's fantastic. They do all kinds of great book covers, so check them out at plasmafiregraphics.com when the look of your book matters to you. Also, check out their Facebook page as well, because they are amazing. And also, we are powered by the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. We've got you covered 7 days a week. Morning and night, all kinds of good stuff. Education, information, you name it, we got it. Check them out, and we've got a couple of shows that may be coming into your future. So take a screenshot of this. We get ready to dump that and get another graphic in there to replace it. We are talking to people. And speaking of people that we like to talk to, we like to talk to our Patreon subscribers. Patreon has helped us keep this show on the air, and we're grateful to them. For a monthly subscription, you can directly sponsor your favorite creators. And see, many of the people on this list here, they have their own Patreon pages. So if you are interested in supporting them, please do. We do hope that you do. But if you want to check out what you get in return for supporting this show, go to www.patreon.com/Brian K. Morris. Also, while you're out there supporting us, please go to Amazon.com and pick up my new book, Snow Ambition, number 4 in the Snow Short series. It's a crime adventure novel that you will dig. It's a real quick read. It's a lot of fun. And right now we are going to unmute my friends here because we got a lot of stuff going on here. And here they are, the Fab Four, we have been called. So anyway, oh, Brian Rodman just got some secondhand smoke there.
Oh no, I may have to go use my nebulizer.
Nebulize this.
Nebulize.
Which comes out tomorrow on Kickstarter.
Really? Why? What the heck are you talking about? Please keep talking while I wait for that to go into the screen there, and I can promote it properly. So
Absolutely.
Anyway, we're vamping.
So the Nebulizer is a post-apocalyptic action comedy about a chronic asthmatic and his feisty AI-controlled nebulizer suit as they fight through a post-apocalyptic world filled with allergen mutants. It's like Bubble Boy meets I Am Legend with a dash of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles just thrown in there for funsies. It is a ton of fun. I struggle with asthma. I have my whole life. Really wanted a hero to just kind of, promote and, kind of be a person to look up to with that, in that area that a lot of asthmatics don't have. Plus, it's just really ridiculously fun. So we launch tomorrow at noon Eastern Standard Time. So you should totally skedaddle to, to this address and sign up for the launch because it's going to be a lot of fun. And there's a toy level this time, which is pretty cool. So yeah.
Very, very cool. Well, we've got you filling the screen here with your glory. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell everybody what you're up to?
Indeed. And for those who do not know me, I'm Brian Rodman from BrianRodman.com, also 1/3 of the Dastardly Dingoes podcast. I write and illustrate comics, such as Memoirs of an Angel and soon to be, starting tomorrow, The Nebulizer.
Most excellent indeed. And let's go to somebody else that I know has something to promote. The one, the only, Mr. Clyde Hall. Clyde, please tell these people how awesome you are.
Yes, bad comic books are terrible, but even more terrible are the dangers and effects of atomic mutation. Hello, I'm Clyde Hall, and I want to warn you about something that could happen, something that will happen in this review program. We'll review comic books that have appeared in thousands of local comic book shops, just like those.
That's my favorite.
And unlike our competitors, the Rising Tide Broadcast Network is the only comic book review show with patented Dynamovision.
Ooh,
and so,
Dynamovision.
With all apologies to Mant and the movie Matinee, I'm Clyde Hall, and I am an independent author and a reviewer and a long-time comic book fan. As far as promotion, I have also got short stories appearing in Pulp Reality #2, now on sale on Amazon, and the award-winning Pulp Reality #1. Check out the adventures of my character, B-Man, in both of those by going to Amazon or by going to www.stormgatepress.com.
Most excellent. And I also have a new graphic across the bottom of the screen. Clyde, would you like to explain that for us, please?
Yes. I don't think I've ever had a comic book review where the comic book had an official playlist. But this week's book that I'm going to review does. And it is not only a playlist, it's a really kicking playlist. While I was writing the review, I listened to it several times. So my book this week is Jenny Zero, #1 from Dark Horse Comics. If you go to that link right there, you can find on Spotify the playlist that the creators put up so that you can follow along to her adventures musically. It's really good.
Most excellent. And now we're going to have the next component of our team here, the one, the only Mr. Eric Hawkins, who is now smoking a cigar, and I'm not talking about them cheap Tipperillos, no sir.
It's a Cohiba.
It's a Cohiba, and you have a reason to take a victory lap, my friend. Please introduce yourself and tell them why you are excited.
About what?
That thing you did with the comic book, and even though it doesn't have a story of mine in there, it's pretty good.
Oh, this stuff all around me here. The Zombie World of Oz. I am Eric S. Hawkins, creator of the Zombie World of Oz. We have just successfully funded issue 3 with just over $6,000 and 181 backers on Kickstarter. Oh, thank you.
Huzzah.
We are not worthy. We are not worthy.
So the book will ship in August, and actually, I have an in-demand store on Indiegogo for issue #2. So I can, instead of running a whole new campaign, I converted the in-demand store to issue 3 in-demand store, where you can buy 1, 2, and 3, which you can pre-order there, and it will ship in August as well. And I've already picked up 3 backers over there, and I only posted it once yesterday. So
Eric Hawkins, you're my hero.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
And Pop Culture Avenger just signed up for the Nebulizer. And let's see here. Nebulizer at noon tomorrow. Yeah, we're going to talk about somebody else's. And yes, Eric lit up a Cohiba, says Carl Witzman. And Cindy Kep, thank you very much. And Hawkins, congrats on the campaign, bro.
Thank you. And, I'll tell you, crowdfunding is stressful. Even when you fund right away, it's a month or however long you do it of stress constantly. So good luck, Brian. Tomorrow.
And I'm sure he meant that sincerely. Anyway, I'm Brian K. Morris. I'm a publisher, freelance writer, Facebook famous YouTuber. I'm also in Pulp Reality #1, and I'm also in Pulp Reality #2, now on sale on Amazon, and a former mortician's assistant. I broadcast about 400 hours every day, I think, and I'm proud to be here with these wonderful people. So let me get me out of the screen. Oh, it's you three again. Anyway,
Brian's vaping too.
Yeah. No, the thing is also, I will have copies of the Pulp Reality #2, a limited amount. This, as Eric's trying to drive Brian out of here. We will be doing, we're doing the Peoria Civic Center this weekend, 201 South Jefferson Avenue in Peoria, Illinois. Will be part of the Indie Author Book Expo with a whole bunch of your favorite authors, which I hope include me. But anyway, we'll be bringing our books, and we're going to have a party of a day. So please come join us. We would love it if you did. So we've got the people. The people are assembling here. And Carl Witzman stumbles in early, falls into a seat. Glad to have you here. That's probably what we'll be doing after a while. And shakes head from her own seat. So sad, says Carly. Carlene, glad to see you. Carl and Carly will also be at the Indie Author Book Expo this Saturday. And I'm not sad about it in the least. Well, good for you. And reaches over to cloth to get clean glasses, knocks over a cigar lighter, cleans glasses, tosses cloth back, knocks over shot glass. Okay, now we're going to cry. Charles F. Millhouse, who is the editor and publisher of Pulp Reality and our dear friend. Glad to see you here. Thank you very much for being here. Check that book out on Amazon. And good thing I'd emptied that. Yeah. 4 or 5 times now, just to make sure. And everyone's saying hello there. And what do you know? I'm early. This is what it feels like. Wow. Yes. Write this down your book. Feel that glorious feeling of being here early and joining in the conversation. Yeah, it is invigorating, Carl. It really is. And it's a little too exciting for me. I need to sit down again. And Charles Millhouse is all jittery now. And Carly, we do think it's the shakes. And anyway, could be might have had a little too much bourbon. Let's just see what's going on here. This is a lot more fun than me reviewing. And too much bourbon, I made a funny. And the Ninja Genko, does it hurt when your nose grows like that, Carl? And the Ninja Genko, good to see you here this evening. And Showtime, sorry, didn't mean to shout that well. That's okay. And thanks, Ted. We're glad that we have permission from Mr. Ted Davies Artistry. Check him out on YouTube and his own Facebook page and his own website. And check him out tomorrow night when he is the assistant to Christine Davies as they do Drinking with the Davies. And tomorrow is the dumpster fire. No, not the show. The drink. They've got a drink they're calling the dumpster fire. And hello, Earthlings. What, nothing for me? Ted, come on, I'm still here. And there we go. Hey, I'm on Facebook too. How can that be? I don't know, Rising Tide Broadcast Network. You're one of my favorites. And Fab4 Assemble. We do come with directions, yes. And you've been using StreamYard how long, Morris? Yeah, exactly. And he said I could say that. Well, somebody's going to eventually. And greetings, programs. Brian Hawkins, good to see you. Pop Culture Avenger, thank you for signing up for the nebulizer, and glad to have you here. And everyone's saying hello to each other. And there's that Kickstarter for the nebulizer. Do latch onto it. You'll be glad you did. And Pop Culture, hello from Carl Witzman, and hello. And don't forget that link there for Jenny Zero official playlist. And thank you very much, Pop Culture Avenger. And this is our new slogan, the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. Our ice cream machine is never broken. That's about
there is actually a video on YouTube about why that happens.
Yep.
I think I saw that. Yeah. That there's like a mechanical process for cleaning.
Like 4 hours long.
Yeah. Which is probably longer than most of the shifts of the people running.
Doesn't explain why in the middle of the day they have no ice cream or shakes, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
I actually know that answer. It's because the people who manufacture the ice cream machines in the contract with McDonald's are the only people that can fix it.
Oh,
so they have to wait for the manufacturer to send someone out.
Okay, and they probably don't live in the same city as as the ice cream machine. And Cindy Cap, glad to see you. Also, congratulations to Cindy Cap. She is at $3,548 of her $3,400 goal with 56 backers and still 11 days to go. So please, if you love Cindy, and dear Lord, how can you not love Cindy? There is something seriously wrong with you if you don't love Cindy Cap. And go to CKOEPP.com after you get on board the Animal Eye #1 comic book project, then sign up for a free monthly newsletter and she'll tell you all about it. And yes, Eric lit up a Cohiba and everyone's saying hello, hello, hello. And here we go. And all the congratulations for Eric. We can skip that, of course. Anyway, yeah.
Congratulate me in August when they ship out.
Yeah, there we go. And let's see. Oh, we just had a comment dump here. Oh crap. So anyway, and hello to Joe D. McPhee. Glad to see you here as always. And hello, Joe. And yes, the backup is here. So Brian, if something happens to you, we've got somebody on the bench waiting to get on here.
Yeah, so this is what I like to call an unfortunate promotion. Or right here, this is an actual nebulizer. It's so weird. It actually the newer ones look like vapes. So when I'm having an asthma attack or something in public, I don't have to bust out a huge machine. I can just be like, yes, I'm one of the cool kids.
I think we have one that looks like a turtle.
Yeah.
Is it a turtle or some kind of animal? Yeah. Or maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Actually,
I should go get it. Brian doesn't feel alone. Put the mask on him.
Yeah, Darth Hawkins here. Anyway, go Brian. And from this was Press Publisher, I prefer not to crowdfund, but it's a necessary evil that I must do. No, it's a good way also to get involved with your creative supporters too. So, and it's more fun to work with their money, right? Anyway, hello everyone, and thank you, Ryan Permison. Glad to have you here. And what's up, CBS crew? When is that shirt coming? Well, it's funny you should mention that. We do have someone here with a beautiful, beautiful shirt. If we may show off our lovely model, Mr. Clyde Hall. And there it is. Jeffrey Hayes of Plasma Fire Graphics has now got a line of T-shirts. And what our lovely model there is sporting is the cover to my upcoming book, The Terrors, which if you got on my Patreon page, you'd be about 16, 17 chapters into it by now. So
it's awesome.
Thank you very much. So please check out Patreon, but definitely check out plasmafiregraphics.com and get in touch with Jeffrey Hayes so that he can get you a shirt that looks beautiful and makes you look sexy just like that. And here we go. Ryan has a question, but we'll catch up with that soonest. And as soon as we say hello, and don't forget to send your reading recommendations to Ryan. And everyone's saying hello. And Ryan says, check out Animal Eye Kickstarter from Cindy Cap. It is amazing. And Carl Whitson says, yes, I just watched that YouTube video about the ice cream machine. And still everyone's saying hello. We love it. And I tried to love Cindy Cap, but now there's that restraining order. I know. How well I know. And woohoo! And is it really? That's a clever tile pending for later. And Pop Culture Avenger says that's a great looking shirt. Yes, that is. Jeffrey Hayes does incredible work. In fact, he did the cover of the Abraham Snow book that I showed off earlier. And you're welcome, Cindy. Thank you for being awesome, for being amazing. So let's see. Now, he did ask a question, Ryan did ask a question. What are your favorite time travel books or comic books? I actually have a book. And this is the thing that got me interested in time travel. It was about 1968-69. It was a book by Robert Silverberg called Up the Line, and it was about a commercial time travel company. And this guy, of course, is going through his various misadventures, but we find out that towards the end of the book that the most they sell like tour packages, but through time. The most popular event is the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, but you have to sign a waiver. You can only look forward because if you look back, you might see yourself, and that could change your history. But as far as comic books, I don't know. My favorite TV show is Doctor Who, though. So that's I don't know that I have a favorite time travel comic book, unless it's the Doctor Who comics that have come out. Do you guys have any horses in this race?
Yes. I don't know about comic book. I mean, there's like time travelers in every comic, it seems like. But book wise, I guess it'd be the Time Machine.
Yeah.
Like that. And there was a really good movie based on that. Actually, based on H.G. Wells and Jack the Ripper, and I can't remember the name of that one.
Oh, Somewhere in Time.
Somewhere in Time?
Clyde?
Wait a minute.
Has the bad guy from Tron. And,
right. No.
Christopher Reeve.
Yeah.
No. Somewhere in Time.
You're thinking of Time After Time.
Time After Time, maybe.
Time After Time. Thank you. That's
Somewhere in Time was the with one with H.G. Wells, where he goes into a McDonald's and goes, "This is very interesting wood."
Yeah.
That's that movie. Time After Time. And
but I do have a theory on time travel. If it is possible, I do not believe you can go in the past. I believe time burns like a fuse. You can only go forward.
See, you learned science on this show too. That's how awesome it is. You can go back to your teachers tomorrow and tell them this fact. So,
yeah,
if you're not
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Brian. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think my favorite time travel book is actually Feast or Famine by Dave Schwartz from Alterna Comics, and it's essentially Albert Einstein and Tesla join forces and go into it's not only time travel but interdimensional travel as well.
Very cool.
It's a great book, really fun.
Sounds good. Clyde?
Apart from the early Fantastic Four story where they go back because of Doctor Doom's time platform, that's kind of a cool classic comic book story. I've got really a book and a movie that lately have satisfied me. One is 11/22/63. It's Stephen King, and if you're not a King fan, pass on it. But it's a time travel story with a background of nostalgia about it that really made me feel like I had stepped back into my childhood. He knows the setting, and he doesn't go into great extrapolation about how it works. But I thought it was a very well done story. They made like a miniseries of it that they made some changes I didn't care for, but the book I really enjoyed. Maybe it may just be because it's really my era that this guy travels back to. Not sure. But if you want to see a great movie about time travel, Safety is Not Guaranteed. Small movie, amazingly written, wonderfully acted. One of the most satisfying time travel stories in film form that I've ever seen. So
nice.
If we're talking film, I got to go with Terminator.
There is Art Tebert does a time traveling comic book.
Oh yeah,
Chrononauts or something like that. He crowdfunded it last year, I think.
That sounds right. Yeah.
I think it came out from Image years ago, but then he remastered it and was crowdfunding it last year or something like that.
Oh, nice.
One of the first time travel things that I can remember, and I really liked it, was actually it was Warren Magazine, and it was
yes.
Well, they had the Rook, they had that, but the story that really got me was called My Uncle Zorro. Remember that?
I remember that, yes.
It's a modern day descendant of this legendary outlaw Robin Hood. Goes back in time to meet his famous predecessor, and he dies. The predecessor, the original Zorro, gets killed because you can only flout the establishment for so long before they will hunt you down and kill you. So he comes back to the present day, and he gets all these modern gewgaws to take back and use as the new Zorro.
Right.
And I just thought, as a little kid, I thought it was a pretty amazing storyline. So
that is cool.
Now, if we're talking Zorro, my favorite Zorro movie's Zorro, the Gay Blade. I love that movie as a kid. It was funny.
Yeah, no, it was funny. I enjoyed it when I saw it the first time too. But I just want just thinking about it, I'm just wondering how well that movie would age now. Since that is in the news right now with Seth Rogen making his comments about, cancel culture and everything. So,
yeah, he's Canadian too.
Oh, well, that explains everything. Okay. And to all of our Canadian friends, we do apologize. The views of Mr. Eric Hawkins do not reflect that of the rest of the crew or anyone else on Earth, except for those of us who agree with him. Anyway, how's that for a disclaimer? And Ryan Permisson, favorite Western books or comic books?
Lonesome Dove.
That's a good book.
Yeah, that's a good book. And then, honestly, the Seven Deadly Sins earlier issues of the show is my favorite Western comic of all time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think. My favorite book was actually an adventure series back from the 70s called Edge. And it was about a guy named Josiah Hedges who lost his family and everything. And it turns out it's partially his fault. So he kind of snaps and goes around as kind of a bounty hunter, Jonah Hex type.
Yeah.
But the thing is, every chapter ends with a horrible pun. And also the fact is that the two writers who were British, I found out like only about 15 years ago, they did all their research by watching the American TV shows that came over on the BBC, like Rawhide and things like that. So they have had absolutely no idea how the real West worked. But my favorite pun was one where Edge was hired to take this Asian poet. The guy's name was Ree. He was Father Ree. And he had this destination. He had to go to this place where he was going to deliver his ultimate poem that would, like deliver peace to the world or something like that. And of course, all the way he's telling the poetry to Edge, and Edge is like, I don't get paid if I kill you now. So that's all it's saving you. And so fine. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, see, this is it. Eric knows. But anyway, they get to and I'm going to ruin the whole book for you. It's hard to find anyway. But anyway, he gets Ree to the settlement, and Ree goes right up to the bell tower and starts giving out this great poem. Well, Edge has figured, I just got my money. I'm done with this. So he takes his gun. Or no, actually, he doesn't take that. He grabs the rope on the bell and yanks it as hard as it can. It smacks Ree right in the back, and he goes flying over the side to his death. Yeah. No, it's not the end. And it gets funnier. But anyway, as Edge is walking away or riding away from the settlement, here comes this other Asian guy, and he's like, "Oh, I've heard this is where the poet Ree, the master Ree, has come this way. Do you know where I can find him?" And Edge just points backwards and goes, "Poet Ree in motion." This is a terrifying glimpse into what I find amusing.
That joke just gave me indigestion. I can't handle that.
Oh, cool. Then it worked. Now you know what it's like to have read all 45 of these things.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. And that was one of the better jokes. Anyway, how about you guys? I like The Rawhide Kid. It's done by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and Larry Lieber and all those guys. Anyway. So I brought it back to comics.
Well, obviously, it had to be that book I reviewed a few weeks ago, Midnight Theater and the whatever.
Right.
With the flaming skeleton.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. In fact, I think I see it orbiting now.
I really can't think of any Western books. I mean,
Jonah Hex?
Well, I mean, ones I've read. I can think of Western books, but I can't think of really anything I've read. No. That escapes me.
Have you ever read Bass Reeves?
Oh, well, I've read Bass Reeves. Okay. Bass Reeves is pretty good. You can find that at Walmart right now, issue 1, 2, and 3 by Allegiance Arts.
Yep.
There we go.
The makers of Red Rooster.
And I think it's
that would be one of their better
right
books. Too. That would be that is one of the better books. That Norris Saga and the other one I didn't like, The Futurist.
Yeah, the Future. I took a look at Futurist. It didn't look too bad.
And he's crowdfunding a new book.
Oh, really? Well, we'll touch on that later. Anyway, Teresa Dunn, glad you're here. Glad you're feeling better. Hello, Keisha Acuff. Hope to see you Sunday in Peoria. And if time travel exists, from the desk of a small press publisher says, going backwards would be hard because time branches too much to navigate to a pinpoint spot. Here's another thing. Also, space will not be the same because the planets and even the galaxy move. This is why only the Time Lords should be allowed to navigate time and space because they have formulas.
That doesn't happen when we're on a flat Earth. That's just all made up gobbledygook.
That's true. That's true. And believe me, if somebody's been on the edge, it's Eric. And time after time, says Brian Hawkins, Malcolm McDowell as H.G. Wells and David Warner as Jack the Ripper. Need to find that and watch again. And Ryan Permison says the Terminator is the GOAT. Love that movie. And Chrono Mechanics.
Just interrupt him, Clyde.
Interrupt him.
Mr. Heroes.
Western Heroes, yes, please.
Okay, so you got Jonah Hex.
Yeah.
But the last Jonah Hex story. Have you ever seen that?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Isn't that a great story? That I'm not a Jonah Hex I like, but that story is really good. Mm-hmm. Also, the one that it's one of those characters that gets overlooked a lot. They think of him as kind of like a cheap Zorro, but Lazarus Lane as El Diablo in Weird Western. A man who he's an early revenant. He's like the Crow. He is beaten into a comatose state. He can live, but he can't react. He can't talk. He's confined to a wheelchair by a bunch of Western ruffians, and then he becomes a spirit of vengeance. And there was always a foreboding about when he became El Diablo. This is a different El Diablo, by the way, than like Suicide Squad or any of those later. Right. This is, but the whole way he was done is that, he's in a human form. He's fallible. He can be overcome, but his normal way of turning the tables on gangs of bad guys it just gave you that unsettling feeling. And then, who would ever suspect the guy that can't even get out of the chair and talk? He's stuck there. So I've always thought that character should have gotten better treatment. They could have done more with him, but that's a favorite.
That's a good choice.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, the early issues in All-Star Western are great because you had that great Gray Morrow art.
Oh, yes.
Beautiful art. And then they had a fill-in for one issue by Neil Adams.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. Nice. Seriously good stuff. Yeah, that's okay. Not everyone's heard of him. He's kind of obscure. He does these these backward titles like X-Men and Batman. Nobody's heard of those guys. But no, those are good choices. I grew up on Kid Cold Outlaw from Marvel. That was always a good series.
I highly doubt that. Marvel book from you? Come on.
I know, but this was also 50 years ago. Oh. So that's why they were good. They were old.
It was still timely.
Yeah. This was Stan Lee's Marvel right there. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. In fact, I own an issue before Jack Keller started drawing it. So there. I was very happy to find that. It's old. It's older than I am, actually. And from this small press publisher, my favorite time traveling book would be a choose your own adventure series called The Time Machine. I remember that. Yeah. It was a series of adventures where you time travel to restore the present. Very cool. Very cool. And Gray Morrow was fantastic. Did a lot of creepy and eerie and paperback covers. Yeah, he was a superb painter. I can't think of a single bad art job he ever pulled in. But I will say I used to own a page. In fact, it was an El Diablo page. It was one of the first pages of art I ever bought. But I traded it with somebody for something else. And what got me was he had kind of like what looked like a stippling effect. But it was wash. It was like India ink wash. But because of the bad printing, it looked like stippling. So, and that's one of the things when you see if you see a Gray Morrow original, it will break your heart. As beautiful as it comes out on the printed page, it is almost you'll feel tears welling in your eyes when you look and see how it got printed. And Ted Davies Artistry, did Brian say he read a Marvel book or the book was made from Marvel? Ted, we went up on the mountain. And Stanley was up there. He said, "Hey, true believer, I got a couple tablets you need to take down there." And then I and on the way down, I saw that people shattered them. Let me finish my word before I get in trouble. No, it had nothing to do with Star Trek. Anyway, but no, I carried these tablets down the mountain. I saw these people that were reading old Charltons, and I was so outraged I shattered them both. And those are the missing issues. We'll never know how Kid Colt ever got his reputation back. So,
kids, this is the story of how BKM shat upon the mountain. Have a good night, everybody. See you later.
And wipe with marble tablets, I guess. I don't know.
That's right.
We're not really sure. News at 11. We'll see.
That's right. That's right. This is the result of my brush with the judicial system yesterday. Anyway, Eric did say there would be blood tonight. And yes, it does seem it'll be mine. And Jody McPhee mocks us with his laughter, as well he should. Brian, get this thing back on course. Well, okay, I will. How about we do some reviews, guys?
Nah.
Yeah, okay, screw it. Good night, everyone. Ooh, Mr. Hawkins would like to go first, I sense. I just have this infallible sense of mine.
Yeah.
Mine are always short and sweet and rambling, so why not?
Okay, let's have the short, sweet, and rambling Eric Hawkins himself.
Well, I got a few books this week. I'm only going to review one of them, but I did pick up the second issue of The Lighthouse because I really liked that one when I reviewed that one. I know it's kind of hard to believe, but I'm really looking forward to finding this book, Alice in Leatherland. I think that's going to be a heck of a book. And
So
I'm
is
going to
Carl.
Yeah.
And,
Carl's going to be making a stop at the comic shop on Saturday.
I got this in the mail.
Then look at that.
Yeah, look at
That's
that.
gorgeous.
Yeah, I haven't read it yet, but I will read it.
Yes. I've been honored. Oh, wow. You sneaky
Misdirection.
And I did pick up this too, but I think this is something Brian will probably pick up, and he'd probably like to review it, so I haven't even started it yet. But it's The House of Lost Horizons from the world of Hellboy.
Ooh.
It looks amazing. I picked it up, but I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, I haven't read it yet either. But what I am going to review is issue 2 of a book I did review last month, I guess it was. I really liked. I know it's hard to believe. Most of them I don't like, but this one I did. It's the second issue of Geiger.
Ooh.
Nice.
By Jeff Johns, who I always like his writing, and Gary Frank. This one kind of, it didn't really pick up right after this first issue, so it kind of shocked me a bit. But it was kind of cool. You do find out that Mr. Geiger did have cancer before the mysterious nuclear war happened that they still haven't talked about. And I'm not sure who's talking or narrating here, but they're asking about Geiger, and they asked what kept him alive during the explosion or war that happened. And the person says, a lot of people said it was the cancer that had bottled up inside him. But the other one said it was like, his love for his family, who he shoved in that bunker, and they're still in the bunker, even after all these years. I don't remember years it's been now, because Vegas has built up again, but it's a whole like nuclear Holocaust world around it. But they said it was his family. And then the guy asked, did he ever get him out of the shelter? You'll hear about that soon enough. But first, we got to go into all this other stuff. So that one made me jump right into the book. Just that line of, oh, okay, cool. There's more stuff, but that was kind of cool. But, you do get a little bit Geiger. You really don't get too much Geiger here. You get two people riding through the desert. They're heading to Vegas. Because this is where all these, like, warlords are that own little areas of Vegas. And but they've picked up something one of the kings has been looking for a long time. It's the nuclear football, because apparently the president died somewhere in the desert of Nevada, but the football briefcase, whatever, was still out there. So they're bringing it back. You get to a casino, of course, because they are in Vegas. And apparently that the nuclear war did not stop gambling, because everybody's still gambling. Oh, I didn't notice that, but yeah, everybody's still gambling, and they're dressing kind of scantily because they're winches and the old slots. So apparently some of the warlords, I'm going to call them, are in gambling, and some of the wenches, they're tired of being there, being treated like crap. So actually, one of them steals the nuclear football and takes it back to her little apartment with her kids there, and she's decided they're going to get out of there. They don't know how they're going to get out of there, but they're probably going to steal a car and just because she can't take any more working for these idiots. But unfortunately, they still have security cameras in Vegas. So they know she took it. They come, basically kill her in front of her kids, but her kids are hiding under the sink. But they get out of there by spraying some bug spray in the guy's eye. They steal a car and head out into the desert. And of course, everybody in the desert has to wear the bodysuit so you don't get infected by all the radiation. And they get attacked by some giant ants. Of course, and that's when Geiger shows up again. He rescues them, and they do show the king. I forgot about that. The king, and he hates Geiger because he had a run-in with Geiger at one point, and it didn't go very well. But Geiger was caught in the nuclear explosion, and he kind of laid his hand on this king's face. And why can't I find that panel? There we go. It's a splash. You can see the handprint right across his face.
Awesome.
And he has to wear a mask that kind of makes him look like a little kid all the time.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, poor little guy. But Geiger rescues them, and he has a very important question for him. But he keeps telling him to go home. You go home. It's not safe out here. But before you go, though, do you have any good books on you? Apparently, he's been sitting out in the desert reading all this time with his little two-headed dog. 32 pages. I really liked it. Even though it didn't follow up and give me more story of Geiger himself, it gave you a little more backup story of what's going on, the background story of everything else that's happening in this world of Geiger by Image Comics. And there's no horses, which is disappointing.
Oh.
But and it gets right where it's going to start telling some more stuff. It just cuts off. A little flapper. Is that what you call those, flappers?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, a flapper. Yeah. She's one of the other leaders of Vegas, and then you get some medical files of Geiger with some X-rays. And the only bad thing I'm going to say about the book, out of 32 pages, there's about 8 pages of fluff and ads in the very back. So I thought I got right at the end, and I'm like, I still got some pages to go. Oh, the story stopped. And I was kind of disappointed with that. That's the only thing that really brought me down in the book. The art's beautiful as always. They have plenty of variant covers if you like the variant covers. First 2 issues, I think they had like 6 or 7 each. I think this one might have even had a glow-in-the-dark one, if you're into that kind of thing.
Just like Geiger.
Yeah, because he is the glowing man of the desert. I would, I think I gave the first one a 9. I'll give this a 9 as well. I mean, I really like it. I like the series. And to be honest with you, I haven't liked a lot of comic series in a long time. And I was buying X-Men since like 1980 something. Up until 2010, I'd probably say the last 5 years, I wasn't even reading it. It was still in my bag or my pull box, and the stories just didn't interest me, but I just kept getting it anyway. Mm-hmm. Thought it would get better. I wasn't even reading them. I probably have 2 years worth I didn't even read before I just quit getting them. But this, the Lighthouse, stuff like that, some of these books I've been picking up from Boom and Image and all these guys, I really enjoyed most of them. And this is definitely one I'll keep getting because I'm really interested in the story. So, yeah, 9.
Excellent. Super. It sounds cool. That's one of the benefits, I think, of the show that, I want to read Geiger now. And I've got to give you guys props because you mentioned one a couple weeks ago by Mike Mignola and Warwick Johnson Cadwell called Mr. Higgins Comes Home.
Yes.
Thank you. This was excellent. This was
so good.
Yeah, it really was. And I want more. I want more of this. I really do. Because they've already set up such cool stuff in there. So.
There's a second one.
Oh, is there a second one? Oh,
Yeah,
I will look
there
for
is a
it.
sequel. I want to say there might even be a third one. I'm not. I don't remember. I haven't read it.
Well, there's only one in Hoopla. So
Okay.
Oh, try Comixology, where you
Yeah.
can also find issue 1 of The Wonderful World of Oz.
if that doesn't get you running into Comixology, I don't know what will. So anyway, let's see. And Carl Whitney, from the Desk of Small Press Publisher, I missed the part where Stan got from the burning bush. Actually, it wasn't the burning bush. It was Jack Kirby. Stan just took credit for it. And I'm looking for that too. And Carl Witzman says, ye old slots, holy crap, we've derailed again. And we can't even see the rails from where we're at. And Ted Davies says, the Fab Four need confession after this issue.
Hold on, fellas. I got this.
Okay.
Patria et Filii Spiritus Sancti. There you go. We're all good.
Oh, whew. That was easy.
If only it worked that way. Wonderful.
Yeah.
All right.
Domino, your pizza. That's the one I know. Anyway, from Carl Whisper, Flapper falls over from suppressed jokes. Okay, someone dial 911 for Carl. I think he's flopping around the floor. He's having a time. So, so anyway, we call up the comments, and Brian? Are you up to feel the next one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I'm feeling good now. I just breathed a bunch of steroids. So let's do this thing.
It worked for the WWF back in the 80s.
Right.
It's working now for Brian.
I got a solid hour in me. Let's go.
You got it. Take it.
Funny that we talked about Comixology, because this week I will actually be reviewing The Last Ronin off of Comixology on my phone here. And if you notice, this cover might look a little familiar to some people.
Yes.
It's a cool, it's a cool take on the death of Superman. And if the cover doesn't
Superman's
give it away,
dead?
no, not anymore. Unlike this comic, in other comics, most comics, deaths don't matter, but these they do. Which is, man, do I have some sad news for you coming for this review? But if you can't tell already by the cover, it features who perishes in this book, which was no secret. But at this point, we're still like, if you haven't read it, I don't want to ruin it for you. Go read it. If you haven't read it, when issue 4 comes out, I'm going to spoil who the last Ronin is. You've been warned. But I'm not yet, because I still think if you haven't read this, even if you're not traditionally a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan, my gosh, go pick this up. Like, you don't need to, you just need to know who the Turtles are. That's it. That's the only previous information you need. But in all seriousness, this series is fantastic. It is this issue. It's written, which is awesome. It's written by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, which they haven't worked on anything in years together, and they've come together to do the Last Ronin series. So it's written by them. Let's see. Tom Waltz is also writing, and Ben Bishop, Esau Escorza, excuse me, and Isaac Escorza are also artists on the issue. The page count is 48 pages, and they're doing really cool things with this series. So far they've done a director's cut of issue 1, which Ted Davies has, and I'm very jealous. But it's really it's a great series. Here's some of they do a good job with the different artists in the series as well. So like, it's not just like random, right? Where like you flip the page and it's like the same, scene, but just different artists. So the different artists are highlighted in different areas of time when we're telling the story. So in this particular issue, this is issue 3. So in this particular issue, we start off in it's after issue 2, the events of issue 2, where one of the turtles and the Shredder's daughter kind of take a tumble out of a building. The turtle dies. She gets thrown into a coma, and she's been in a coma this entire time. And Oroku Hiroto, the Shredder's grandson, is now in charge of the Foot Clan, and he calls for peace. And he says, this war has gone on too long. My mother's in a coma. There's been many deaths on all sides. We need to end this war. So he calls for peace. And then we flash forward and see that was either a lie or just didn't happen, because we go back to him in present day, in present day of the actual story, which is the future. And they continue with like a Blade Runner New York theme. It's really, really cool looking. But he is essentially the king of New York, and announces to all of the city that he is essentially initiating martial law, looking for the turtle that or the mutant, as he calls him, that has attempted his life in previous issues. And we then go back. We meet up with the turtle and April O'Neil, and they, in present day, they're kind of talking about what's happened, how they're reminiscing on how they got here, and we meet and get to know Casey Jones and April O'Neil's daughter, who is named Casey. And she's kind of a vigilante character as well. She has rallied a group of resistance, and she is just kind of she's a teenager, and so her and the Ronin turtle are they have a bit of familiarity with he knows that her going out as a kid, going out in the city and fighting is dangerous, and he shouldn't encourage it. But he's like, at the same time, I did that, and that's the world we live in. So we get some of that character building, which is really, really rich, really good. And then we go back in time and meet up with Splinter and the remaining turtles, and it's they're answering the call of Oroku Haruto, and they're gonna go to Japan to talk peace. And while Splinter and Donatello leave, the Foot Clan attack the Turtles' base. And this is when the art switches the first time to Ben Bishop, who is, in my opinion, so far in this series, is the best artist. In my opinion, I think he captures just the look of the Turtles so well. And there's a really cool update on the Mousers. So now they're not, if you remember, the Mousers are like the little robots that have the legs and they, run around in the sewers and eat through the walls. Well, now they fly because it's the future, right? So why not? And then we get some really good action of the Turtles and Casey Jones just, essentially just annihilating the robot Foot Clan, which looks a lot like the cartoon Foot Clan, which is just so cool. And then unfortunately, in that skirmish, the headquarters explodes.
Ooh, sound effects.
Yeah, there you go. There's your sound effect, buddy. There's a lot of sound effects in this. So, and then as the cover revealed, we get that. And
that's very interesting, that page right there.
Yeah?
I recall, I think it's a cover from one of the old turtle books of one of the turtles on top of a brick chimney like that. I think it was almost shaped just like that.
Yeah, you're right. And then of course you have the Bleecker Street sign down there by the sword, because that's traditionally where the turtles have been located. And then we pick back up in the future with April and Casey's daughter. She's doing some resistance, stuff, and kind of they're starting to gather their troops to figure out what to do now, because everything's under martial law and they're searching for this last remaining turtle. And then there's another part where they go back in time, and Kevin Eastman in black and white actually illustrates the story, which is really, really cool.
Nice.
And then we leave. This was probably the downbeat for me. This was the first really, like, not negative, but I don't know. It was a little weird. part of the series, and that is you get just Oroku Hiroto just monologuing for like 3 pages, and literally just screaming and laughing at himself as he's running around the rooftops, and then the man like trips.
I do that all the time.
I can picture that as you're on mountaintops, right? And he trips and falls, and then he's just like, haha, nothing can hurt me because my angels will save me. And then like the last panel of him falling is like these robot arms coming out of the building to grab him. So that was probably the weirdest scene in the series so far. I don't know that it was necessary. It didn't really move the story along. It almost seemed to just like fill some pages, which was, like I said, the only downbeat so far of this series. But then it picks right back up with more character development and a big reveal of what I have now dubbed the turtle tumbler. So, which is just freaking cool. So, go get this issue if you can't find it in stores because they sell out like that. Comixology, man, it's great for backup situations like that. I'm sure they'll probably be doing a second printing here soon. But
it's also available. It's also available on Hoopla.com because that's where I read it.
There you go. So I would overall give this I would give it a 9 out of 10. I know the first 2 issues I gave 10 out of 10. Like I said, the 9 out of 10 is mostly because that group of 3 or 4 pages where it does really capture the craziness of this guy, and I really think it gets that across. It was just kind of weird how they did it. He was just kind of sitting there over top of the city talking to himself. I feel like he could have probably shown how crazy he was in another way instead of doing that. But that's just a preference for me. It wasn't badly done. It was just kind of weird. So yeah, 9 out of 10. It's great. The Last Ronin series, good grief. Go get it, guys. It's fantastic.
Yeah, seriously.
I've read issue 1 and 2. I haven't read 3 yet. But I am a little disappointed that my favorite turtle is not the Last Ronin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
My favorite turtle is, which I was not expecting.
Oh.
So I was like,
I got issue 4 already.
Oh, look at you.
Did anyone see? Was it the Toys That Made Us where they reunited Eastman Laird?
Yes.
That was awesome. It was awesome.
That was when they teased this actually for the first time. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, what I liked was that little robot character.
Yes.
That it's like I remember having that issue of that character. I'm blanking on the name right now.
I am too. Hold on.
Let's look for that one. I'll ban for you.
I was trying to remember because
I
had that toy when I was a kid. Like I loved that character.
Yeah, it was like a one-shot comic, and I'm flipping through the pages, and I'm like, he looks familiar. Oh, that's who that is.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. So while you're doing that, you definitely would recommend Comixology, where from the desk of the Small Press Publisher says you can pick up all issues of Amazonia, the great book by Joe D. McPhee. And Ted Davies Artistry says, I've still got the director's cut of that last Ronin #1, just saying, Brian Rodman. And Carleen says, listens to noises from other side of the house, wonders if she should check, and shrugs because she was so engrossed in your review. And Badoom. And Carl Wisman does that running across the roofs and shouting on Friday nights, as does Keisha Acuff. And we probably do it on the same show, Keisha. And yes, that does sound correct. Sometimes we even wear fun hats. And Cindy Kep says it all. Cowabunga. So what was the name, Brian?
I can't find it.
You had one job, Brian.
I know. I'm not doing it. I'll just blame it on the low oxygen.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, he's not breathing right. So
I don't know. He's a great character. I loved him from the cartoons. When he popped up in the issue. Oh, what we got here?
You could order turtle iron-ons back when the issue 4 originally came out.
Ooh,
oh wow!
Look at that.
That's what we all
buttons. That's so cool.
Very cool indeed.
That's awesome. But yeah, no, like when I good grief, I remember when he popped up in this comic in this issue. I was like, oh, I had that toy and I loved his character. It was great.
Oh man, that is super. That is super. Well, thank you very much for that review, Brian.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, as always. And now I think I'll go next so you'll appreciate Clyde Hall all the more. And also, this is not the book I've got is not the sort of book that we want to end the show on. So,
Wait, really quick.
Yes.
Fugitoid.
Fugitoid, thank you.
That's his name.
Thank you. That's it.
Yeah.
Whew, that was close. That's going to bother me all night.
We can all go to sleep better tonight now.
Okay.
That's good. Not now. Not now, Brian. Not now.
Okay. Okay. I thought I was going to pass here. Anyway, so thank you again, Brian. Thank you so much. That was great. And speaking of stuff that's a little bit different here, I've got something a little bit out of the ordinary path. If you're sick of superheroes, I may have just the book for you. If you're a fan of Ed Brubaker's writing, like I am, he does a lot of crime drama now. And he has written things like 100 Bullets, Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, Hellblazer, Doc Savage, Loveless, The Spirit, Sergeant Rock, Deathblow, Cage, among many others. He also wrote the screenplay for the animated The Killing Joke, but don't hold that against him. And although I'm perfectly glad to. Anyway, he's got, I'm going to get reckless here. That's the name of the character, Reckless. He is Ethan Reckless, and this is the second book of the Reckless series. The first one is called, go figure, Reckless. This is called Friend of the Devil, and it's a graphic novel done with Sean Phillips, who's also done Judge Dredd, Wildcats, Criminal, Fatale, Hellblazer, and a really good one that was released about 6 months ago called Pulp. Again, with Ed Brubaker. The protagonist of this series, like I said, his name is Ethan Reckless. He was recruited out of college by the FBI to go deep undercover. You know, kind of like Abraham Snow, another character I'm very fond of. Available on Amazon, 99 cents. No ambition. Anyway, what happened in this one, though, he gets caught in a kind of romantic situation. And it leads to him being caught in an explosion in the first book that takes away his emotional memory. So he can't remember being in love with the woman that contacts him in the first book. And in this one, he's reminiscing about a case he took in the 70s. See, what happened was he was doing odd jobs, shall we say, with his FBI training and solving problems for people. So he bought himself a movie house where he lives and he watches like old sitcoms on the big screen. But in this book, this takes place in the 70s, like I said, and it details a romantic affair that Reckless had with a lady whose family had come over from Vietnam before it fell in the war. Well, this woman was adopted, her family rather was sponsored by an American family who they had a young daughter who was about this lady's, this lady's age here. And they grew up as sisters, but eventually, they each sought their own destinies. And the Vietnamese lady wants to know what happened to her sister. This takes Reckless down a path of investigating various cults in the Hollywood area, kind of during the time that Charles Manson was going through trials and all. And it has kind of a downbeat ending. But if you like hard-boiled detective stuff, this is a terrific book. It is marvelously written. And I'm going to try to find in the setup for this. It starts out just like a lot of TV shows where you're thrown right into the action from the start, and then you go into a flashback to find out what led us to this point. The artwork by Sean Phillips. One thing that a lot of people that do comic books, especially superhero comics, do not know how to do is draw normal people. Sean Phillips does a superb job of that. And I forgot to write down who the colorist is. I can get that for you. But the storytelling is very brisk. Not a lot of sound effects. Sorry, Eric. No horses. Buy it anyway. But you see this flashback here, a very dour time in Reckless's life with this lady who they have fallen in love with each other for the duration of the case. Very evocative, very evocative. And then on the next page, we're back to full color for the the current, then current scene. The lettering is real nice though, Brian. You'll be proud of them.
Yes.
Yeah, baby. And there is some adult stuff. There's some adult language. There is violence, which means that borrow it from your 13-year-old probably, because they're sure to have a copy. But it has a satisfying ending. Makes a lot of sense, but like I said, it was not necessarily a happy one, but very wonderful art. If you like crime drama, if you like the old stuff by Mickey Spillane, or any of the hard-boiled detective novels of the 30s and 40s, then this one is definitely one that you should be. Here we go. It's by Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips, and the color is by Jacob Phillips. That's who did the coloring. But it is a fast-paced book. The version here that I'm reading from, or that I've read from hoopla.com, it's 152 pages. I got this read real fast, and I didn't feel cheated when I was done. Like I said, it's not exactly the feel-good story of the year. Neither was its predecessor. But I think Ed Brubaker, if anyone could repopularize the hard-boiled detective era, think Jim Rockford with a little bit more espionage involved for those who like the Rockford Files. Yeah. So anyway, Friend of the Devil from Image Comics. I think it's from Image. Let me double check that. I could be wrong. Yes, it's Image. It has the mighty eye there. But anyway, Friend of the Devil. Make this your friend. It's available on Comixology and Hoopla, and should be at your local comic shops right now. I'm going to give this a... I shouldn't be giving everything a 10, but mostly because, like I said, it is at times a very emotional story, which I think is a plus. I'm going to give this a 9.5. I really enjoyed it, and it is such a refreshing change of pace from superheroes and stuff like that I really enjoyed it. Brubaker and Phillips did a superb job on that, so I highly recommend that. 9.5 because I said so. So that's my review of that book. So, and Carl Winston says, I have to load up Creative as Hail on the other monitor. Rising Tide. And Acuff Creation says, I love cults. Well,
just not too much. Don't love them too much.
Yeah, not all at once, at least.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid, Keisha. Don't do it.
No. Hold out for drinking with the Davies when you can learn how to make a proper drink. So anyway, hashtag always promote your friends. So anyway, that's it. And now we move to the king of commentary up here. No pressure, Clyde.
Thanks. Yeah.
And Clyde's going,
this better be good, Clyde.
Yeah. You have a lot to live up to, Clyde.
Yeah, I'm an excellent reviewer. Yeah.
Because I like to read the books. The books are good. I like the comics. The pretty pictures.
I don't look at the words. I don't know why they put them in the way, because it gets in the way of the art and the pretty girls. Anyway, Carl, it sounded too real, didn't it? Anyway, Carl Winston says Art Cult has its own dark pope. And yes, it does, Keisha. Anyway, here is Mr. Clyde Hall. Clyde, what do you have for us this week?
Well, you wanted to end on a positive note. Now, my comics, a lot of times when I review, yes, that would fit that. This is also not the best comic to sleep on, probably. But I will, given the opportunity here, we're talking about promoting our friends. I used to have trouble finding things to put on the wall behind me, but Zombie for World of Oz, with Mr. Eric Hawkins art. These pinups, I love them. This week, I also got my autographed copy of Memoirs of an Angel, Brian. And
Fling.
Oh, no. I've read it, and I really enjoyed it. I want to read it again, dive into it deeper, but first reading, really liked.
Thanks, man.
Also, I've got my The Terrors Brian Morris shirt. So, hashtag always promote your friends. So also, by the way, bookmarks with cutlery. It just doesn't get any better than this, Brian. Thank you.
I'm glad you like it, man.
Okay. Of the new comics this week, Heroes Reborn continues to be quality reads. I reviewed that last week. A book that it's okay to sleep on, I think, was this. And I'm nostalgic. I do like the Seven Soldiers of Victory from the old DC mythos. But Stargirl Spring Break Special has a modern version of them, kind of an update of what they've done in the Stargirl TV show, if you're ready for that to start again, the second season. And it's a 13 and older age level, but, I think if young people have been watching Stargirl and they're missing it, this is a very good filler. And it also it puts into place some things that are going to launch a new Stargirl series from DC. So if you're looking for something that is not nightmarish, that is a good read this week. Now, on the other hand,
Here it comes, folks. Brace yourselves.
here it comes. Last week, Brian K. Morris did a fine review of Marvel's The Trials of Ultraman #3. And we've all been talking about Giant Monster Comics of late. And a recent read of Dark Horse Comics, Jenny Zero #1, was the final ingredient that I needed for mixing a kaiju cocktail review of my own. Apologies to Ted and Christine Davies from our RTB and streaming of the series. Hashtag always promote your friends. Jenny Zero #1, Dark Horse Comics, $3.99 cover price, written by Dave Dwanch and Brockton McKinney. The art by Magenta King, colors by Megan Wang, letters also by Dave Dwanch. Maturity level is mature. Two syllable, mature adult. Okay.
Dang, that's serious.
It's not X-rated, but it really, it's for grown-ups. Show you some artwork from it. I love the cover. The cover is very cool, I think. And it, in many ways, this fits the story. This is art that fits the story. It's not normally the kind of art that I would rave about, but it fits the story quite well. You have some nice fold-out pages.
Nice.
You've got you do have some sound effects. Dave Dwanch is a good writer for the main writer. Action sequences, and now here come the monsters and the effects.
Roar!
Roar! Yeah. Okay. So I think the art works for this title quite well. Legacy heroes, broken relationships, the cult of celebrity, and of course, giant monsters. Writers Dave Dwanch and Brockton McKinney offer that perfectly accurate description for their inaugural issue of Jenny Zero. While successions of generational monster fighters like Ultraman resonate through other current titles, this book offers a human, imperfect, even a broken protagonist. Hard-living heroes aren't new, but breaking from the pack of similar yet upbeat kaiju commandos, it feels right. Maybe as an outsider looking in, not being a huge fan of kaiju, but being a monster kid, I can see this. Maybe even it's necessary, and they tell us how this would really play out adult world sort of way. Because inheriting legacies, it often comes with a price. In this case, the bill's past due, and includes unwanted responsibility and extremely flawed characters railing against lofty examples set by their predecessors, and loss. Issue #1 shows us the frenetic life of Jenny Tetsuo, daughter of legendary Mega Commander Zero, once second-generation monster fighter cut from his same genetic cloth before she fell from the Action Science Police's good graces. Now she's a sacked hero, a celeb who runs with all the beautiful people thanks to her rich bestie and publicist, Dana Sheraton, and her drug dealer, Jamal. Yeah, it's that kind of a story. If you've watched Jupiter's Legacy, we're talking a very Chloe-like character in Jenny. But when the ASP's General Fujimoto, Jenny's former supervisor and also her uncle, calls requiring her to return to active duty, the party monster eventually, resistantly, acquiesces because lives will be lost otherwise. Her days of trying to be a hero are over, but she knows that she can do some good because she excels at killing things. She's reunited with her attendant, Nemo, and trudges to an endangered coastline while hungover, still drinking, and hefting a Godzilla-sized shoulder chip. Projectiles fly, kaiju brains explode, buildings crumple like cardboard, and then things really take a downhill slalom for poor Jenny Zero. Dodge and McKinney don't pull punches, and they've created a cynical, next-gen underbelly world by imagining what happens when men and women of honor and duty rise up in defense of Japan from rampaging colossal monsters, only to eventually find the Leviathan tide growing worse and threatening the world entire, in spite of all their bravado, all their battles, and all their sacrifices. A world where people like Jenny find the bright facade dimmed by reality, defense forces braced up with propaganda made for fresh blood in the form of young recruits, and a better alternative in living fast even if you die young from an overdose. There are worse, less enjoyable alternatives to that fate. Or, as Jenny opines at one point, and I'm paraphrasing, sleep without dreams is a gift granted by the blackout of chemical overindulgence. Artist Magenta King also pulls no punches. His style's gritty, street level, and then hyperjumps into monstrous panoramas of cityscape destruction wrought by industrial-sized hellspawn. In both focuses, however, there's a rawness, and that fits here. Expect visions of gore and nudity and unsettling symbiosis and severed monstrous extremities. Megan Wang's color adds to the overall effect. Her color schemes of warm, burnt neutrals, denying that optimistic can-do party line perkiness that you find in things like the ASP. When Dwanch puts on his lettering hat, he shows great skill balancing action with the dialogue, and he contributes epic sound effects, including kashflooshes of greasy, grimy kaiju viscera painting landscapes. The first issue fires on all cylinders. It's action. It's a squealing tire burnout to establish Jenny's world in view, hinting at larger concerns and promising more in future issues. It mirrors, in many ways, how the writers in the afterword described the hard partying session fleshing out their ideas for this series. Now, it may be difficult for them to continue that momentum, but it also may not be necessary. Their narrative has hooks which take hold. The series is also planned for only 4 issues. Some readers will probably prefer their kaiju fare less cynical and more upbeat, more refined and less crude, with fewer curse words, flashes of body parts, and gargantuan disembowelments. But after they bring all that, the creative team also shows us a Jenny Zero who, in the heat of the battle, one of the best scenes, worries about a helicopter crew endangered by the conflict. They show her efforts to save them, to save everyone that she can. Those views past the coarse exteriors and bravado into the heart of someone who cares, even when she claims not to, are part of this book's appeal. It's not the standard approach, but it's a good start. And it comes from a phenomenal final scene at no extra charge. I'm giving Jenny Zero #1 of 4. I was going to give it 7 out of 10, but then I found the official Spotify playlist, and it rocks. So that bumped it up to 7.5 out of 10.
All right. Beautiful. So check out that playlist there hanging on your screen right now. Very cool. Thank you, Clyde. That sounds interesting, although you're mentioning like body parts and viscera and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, when's he going to warn me away from the comic?
Yeah, really, honestly, Clyde, that sounds right up my alley. I'm excited about it.
I thought of you when I was reading it. I'm like, oh, Brian would really love it. And I'm also thinking Ultraman review last week by Brian Morris. I'm like, this is so, it has the facade of all that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like a Commander Zero, come out here and be one of our defense forces. Oh, I'm sorry, you already know, you've already gone this route before, haven't you? Never mind, we just need you. Come back here because genetically you have to wield the super weapons that your father used to. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a nice, and I did see where somebody was saying, oh, we've seen this before. I've seen hard-living heroes before, Wolverine being one of the top, but I've never seen it mixed with kaiju like this. And that scene where she's worrying about a helicopter crew, and they're going, you know, the superiors are going, stay on target. No, What about these guys stay on target? No, what about, hey, look, and she's just enough of a rebel that it's like, I'm saving them. I don't care what you say. She's got that. She has a good center. She's just been really badly. She's gone through a lot. And I like it. I liked it a lot.
Cool.
That sounds good. That sounds really good. Thank you as always, Clyde. That was excellent. And we have some other comments here. Ted Davies is announcing he's joining the cult of Clyde. As are we all. We'll see.
Indeed, yes.
We're going to be, all four of us will be down at the airport selling you peanut brittle. Anyway, and Carl Witzman says, Spring break special, Stargirl's gone wild.
It's not that kind of issue, Carl. Calm down. Okay, it's just not.
Clyde's like, calm down, Carl. Calm down.
Stargirls and Starros.
That's right, my God. And here we go. It sounds like Keisha Acuff's kind of comic. And on the other hand, there are 5 more fingers. There's that. And Comic Talk with Pops Van Zandt, always a pleasure. Thank you for sharing this program. Please, everyone, please share this program for your comic loving friends, because they might have stuff they can they want to listen to. Oh, and we have a video that is done.
We do.
Yes, we do. Let's see if I can call this up here. So open link in my window. Let's see. Oops, that did not work. Hold on a second here. That's in a completely different browser. So anyway, but we know ways around this. There we go. All right. So anyway, what else did you guys read this week that we are reviewing?
I actually I have been tumbling down the rabbit hole of BPRD and the Hellboy universe again. So I reading the Lady Baltimore book that I reviewed a couple weeks ago. I'm kind of always reading Hellboy. It's just always happening. Yeah. And so like I'm just constantly in a cycle of reading. I'll finish it up and then I'll go back because there's always new stuff like what Eric just showed, and there's the Lady Baltimore stuff, which isn't Hellboy, but and I actually recently last night actually I came across the one panel so far in the BPRD books that made me cry. And it's the reason that Hellboy as a child cuts his horns off. And it's because an adult that he was hanging out with, a soldier, just on the base where he grew up, he's their buddy, and he really looks up to him, and they're goofing around, and he puts his hat on. Hellboy's like maybe 6 or 7, and he puts the soldier's hat in between his horns, and the soldier laughs at him, and not maliciously, but Hellboy's a child, and so you start seeing the just the self-deprecation that begins. And the last panel of the book, the BPRD 1948, is Hellboy just looking in the mirror with a handsaw and his horns, and he's looking really sad. And it was just like, gosh, like I just hung out on that panel for like a minute or two, because I was like, the emotion that you've been seeing this side story happen for the last few books, and then it leads to this is why he trims his horns, and it's just so sad.
So, did it make Jason Mewes cry too?
Dude, it did. We cried together, and then we went out and leaned against the gas station. It was really good. It was a good night.
And Hellboy with the Saw is crushing, says Ted Davies artistry, and BPRD and Hellboy are the best. And Carl Winston said he did say it was mature. So
yeah,
sounds like we got another one here. So anyway, Brian, I've got a video.
You do, indeed. Yes.
I thought you said that'd be private. You wouldn't show it to anyone.
Well, this is okay. The video of Eric, the video of you and me, I'm not sharing anybody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's not this. This is something else.
He's clutching it to his bosom, so to speak. And Nick Tockert is here, but he's not commenting about your video. That is tragic and beautiful.
Yeah,
because
it really is.
The video with those two. It's young love. What can we say?
It is.
It is a love that it used to be a love that would not speak its name. Now it's a love that won't shut up. That's how Eric and Brian are with
The
each other.
bromance has blossomed.
I
everyone.
know,
This is
and
it.
we've got the video to prove it.
Indeed.
Anyway, speaking of video to prove it, you want to set us up for this video we're about to run, Brian Rodman?
Yeah, I would love to. So, as many of you know, I've harassed you with the news of the nebulizer coming out tomorrow at noon, and we are going to be doing a Facebook Live event, Robin and I, as we always do upon launch. We're going to launch live on Facebook, so that'll be really cool. Tune in for sure. But a few weeks ago, which I would like to advocate for, I think everybody, if you're going to do a Kickstarter, one of the best things you can do for your fans, for your the people that'll show up that have never heard of your work before, do a video. Statistically, Kickstarters with videos do better. It shows your professionalism. It shows that you know what you're talking about, and it provides pretty much everything that they're going to read as they scroll down in a 2 minutes or less video of you just talking about your project. It also allows the viewer a chance to just get to know you a little bit better. So that's my little PSA. But this video is the official Kickstarter video for the nebulizer. It walks through some of the tiers and just kind of gives you a brief summary of the comic and why I'm making it. So take it away, Brian.
All right, here we go. Hitting all the proper buttons. And boy, howdy, do I know how to hit the buttons. Here we go. This is the Kickstarter video final export. Enjoy.
Hey everybody, I am Brian Rodman and I create comics. You may have seen my previous series, Memoirs of an Angel, or you may have seen me on the Dastardly Dingoes podcast on YouTube. And if you haven't, then you should go to brianrodman.com and check those out because they're pretty stinking awesome. But today, I'm here to talk to you about a brand new series, a post-apocalyptic action comedy called The Nebulizer. So The Nebulizer is about a chronic asthmatic who's named Connor and his feisty AI nebulizer suit named Albie as they fight through a post-apocalyptic world filled with allergen mutants. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And it knows it's ridiculous, and you're going to love it because it's ridiculous. And the best part about this, honestly, for me, is that this comic is for everybody. All ages will enjoy this. I mean, the worst thing in this comic is monster guts, and let's be honest, what kid doesn't like monster guts, right? You know?
Brian, I don't think all kids like monster guts.
There are kids that don't like monster guts?
Yeah.
What?
I don't know.
This comic is for everybody. So before the blast, because there has to be a blast, it's post-apocalyptic, right? So Connor's doctor created a vial that really stores all of his medication that he can put inside of his suit. And the catch is it only lasts for 3 years, and this vial keeps him alive. So him and Albie are on the hunt for this last remaining vial that hopefully is out there somewhere. It's Bubble Boy meets Mad Max with a dash of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and I Am Legend. So it's a lot of fun. And this project means quite a bit to me personally because I have chronic asthma and I have had that my whole life. So when I was growing up, and even now, when I can't go outside, I can't do things with my friends, I'm in front of a comic book or a TV, watching cartoons or movies, and I'm drawing. Really, it's because of asthma that I became a comic creator to begin with. And I really wanted to create a character that asthmatics, young and old, can identify with and look to and be like, hey, that's really cool. That's a great representation of asthma and asthmatics in the comic book world. So this project in particular provides a lot of really cool ways to jump into the world of the nebulizer. We'll of course have digital and physical reward tiers for the issue itself. We'll also have an amazing variant cover by Seth the Moose, whose art is featured in stories like Floppy Cop and Tales of Mr. E. For the higher tiers, we'll have prints and bookmarks, but we'll also have a really cool tier where you yourself will be able to be drawn as an allergen mutant. Who doesn't want that, right? And we also may or may not have some really cool surprises along the way. So scroll through, see what reward tier fits you best, and jump right into the world of the nebulizer. Thanks so much for watching. and that's it. It's just super long.
All right.
I got a
Jeremy's-
very Debbie Gibson vibe from the
Yeah,
music.
Yeah, I
like
did
that
too.
music. Jeremy. Okay, so I have to brag on my boy Jeremy Woodring
Do
because
it.
he put that video together. I think that's probably his best work I've ever seen.
That was well done.
He's done all of my Kickstarter videos. He's the producer for the Dastardly Dingoes, and he is phenomenal, super professional, and he had a blast making this. You can absolutely tell. He picked the music. He texted me a
Love
few
that
weeks
music.
ago, and he was like, "I found this, and I think it would fit perfectly." And I was like, "Yes." It absolutely late 80s, early 90s vibe. That's the color palette. That's everything I'm going for. So well
That
done,
is-
Jeremy. Thank you, sir. It was a great job.
Honestly, I fully agree with that. And so, folks, please check that out. Join the world of the Nebulizer, launching tomorrow. And right now, you can still get involved with it. There's like 34 people right now, I believe, who have said, "I want to be the first in line to give Brian Rodman some money." And so, so you can get in line there, and you'll be notified immediately via email that the campaign is live. And Cindy Kep gives her view on it. Woot! Says Cindy. We have gotten the official wootage from Cindy. Thank you,
Yes,
darling.
I've been wooted.
It left her out of breath.
It did.
Oh,
It left-
oh, oh,
Oh. I'll do it for Eric.
What a breathtaking video. Yes. What a
Oh.
wonderful thing.
And like Brian said, videos are very important for Kickstarters,
Yeah.
definitely.
They really are.
And I was surprised with Zombies World of Oz. I had 64.7% of them played the video through completion.
Wow.
It's amazing how many people actually because you think about it, especially if you share it on social media, if it's a part of your ad, it's the top of the page. So if they see, oh, there's a video, they're going to click that. And if you summarize everything that they would scroll through, they're set.
Yeah, that was nicely done. Very nicely done. Congratulations to you, Brian Rodman, and to Jeremy Woodring for putting that together. And one thing I did like was the fact that it was a couple minutes long. I've seen so many videos on Kickstarter and on Indiegogo. There's like 15 minutes later. And then page 3 came to me when I was 6, and it's like, shut up. I don't care anymore.
Oh man. And actually, I think that video, I think the length was fine, but honestly, I feel like you could go shorter. The memoirs, the last couple memoirs videos we've done have been about minute 30, but this is the first issue, so we kind of wanted to expand it a little bit more.
That makes a lot of sense. And there might be parts you can use for the next video too. Yes, Eric.
I'm just laughing at Ted over
Yeah, I saw it too.
we all can't be Ted.
Yeah.
That's right. Not easy being wheezy. Nebulizing at noon, and 100% watch my video through. Just saying. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, Nick Docker says Brian Rodman and Eric are riding the skeletal horse of love.
Ooh, yes. Indeed. And there's no weight limit on that horse, and I'm glad. So it's good.
They go across the
It's
finish
that
line.
cartoon horse with the back.
It's just at the end of it, it's like, oh my gosh, why eat a salad, sir? What's wrong with you?
Help me die, says the horse. Help me die.
Oh,
I'm
and I
sorry,
will say this.
you're undead. You can't die. You have to suffer. Sorry.
I will say this, folks, going back to the nebulizer really quick. When this wasn't originally in my head, but ever since Jeremy brought this up, I haven't been able to get it out of my head because it's perfect. If you buy the nebulizer and you read the comic, when you read Albie, the AI's voice, it's Brian.
Yeah.
It is Brian K. Morris. So if there's ever any animation happening, sir, you are Albie. You are the perfect voice for that character, and you'll understand why.
Okay.
It's wonderful. Just trust me. So when you're reading the comic, read that character in Brian's voice. You'll love it. It makes
That
it
may
so
not
much
be a
better.
selling point, brother.
It's
I'm
no,
telling
it
you.
is. Well, if they're here, it is. I
I'm
won't
hearing
say
him in my head.
Now, will you be cosplaying as the nebulizer at cons?
I will not, but I've had a couple people say that
Cool.
they might. So I actually a buddy of mine, Travis, is just he just retired. He was a firefighter. He's jacked, and I was like, hey man, you should do it. And I told him the concept. He's like, dude, I might. So I hope he does it. That'd be great.
Cool.
So
Remember, they sell Warbler now at Joann's Fabrics. So Joann Fabrics.
oh
Yeah.
I'll let him know.
Reasonably priced, and the horse has a built-in U-turn. Does now. And Ted Davies Artistry says Christine was the only one that watched it.
Oh,
Well, it's probably because
That can't be true. I know I watched it.
I was gonna say I watched it too. So yeah,
I watched it just now. So see, you've already got
Fake news.
that's right. And just remember, Ted has a show at 10 a.m. every Tuesday. Ted Talks with some great creator. Also, Ted Talks timepieces on Thursday morning. And
He
also
had a
Drinking with
Casio
the
watch today. I didn't know Casio
He
still
did.
made watches.
yes. He had a Casio watch, and right after the show, I sent him a message, and I was like, I haven't worn a watch in 10 years, and I'm about to buy one because of you. I told him, I said, I blame you, sir. I blame you because I am interested in watches again.
Yeah, I am too. Yeah, cut it out, Ted.
I blame him
Anyway,
for drinking White Russians every night too.
that's called program research, Eric.
Yeah, there it is.
In fact, I've been helping him. I've been helping Ted lately. I've been drinking about a half a bottle of wine every night, but I don't tell him the results of any of it. So I guess I'm not much help, am I?
I was gonna say,
Anyway,
is that-
remember the
is that
results.
I was gonna say at the end of that, that's experience, you have no memory. So there's
This is
that.
good stuff. This is great stuff. People think I'm drinking coffee all day. Oh no. So anyway, and Christine Darla, I'm seeing anything else. Oh, and it's about time I get a watch. Well, we're
There
happy
you
to
go.
watch you. Oh, look, Clyde's got one. There.
Ted has done his evil work. Look at this.
Look at that.
Ted, I hope you got a percentage. dude.
I know, right?
A relative was doing some cleaning out of his house, and he was like, "Hey, I got some old watches. You want some of these watches?" And of course, I said, "Yes, I do," because Ted.
Oh, Ted, you've started something. Good man. Good man.
Yep. The Rising Tide Network is making me poor. I'm just,
Yeah. I've been getting some lectures from my wife about, Brian, let's discuss your comic book budget. I'm like,
discuss it after the nebulizer.
Yeah, that's what I told her. Well, fortunately, you're happening after the first of the month.
Yes.
So, the clock gets turned back. And I told her this, and she's like, that's not going to save you. You kidding?
Yeah, but he won't be collecting till the end of the month.
That's
yeah,
true.
there we go.
Don't tell her. Don't tell her that part though.
I'll keep her on the edge there. And Ted Davies is starting an Amazon affiliate page.
Hey, I looked at watches today. I've always been a fan of fossils, and I went out and looked at their website to see what they had going on because I haven't bought a fossil in a while.
Yeah, I
didn't buy anything though. I just looked.
Yeah, I found a really cool like freestyle. It's the color palette of the nebulizer essentially, and it's Shark the brand, and I'm really excited about it. It's affordable, which because my gosh, there are some watches.
Yeah,
I'd buy it and I wouldn't wear it because I'd be too afraid it's going to break because I spent too much money on it.
I had a watch like that. I had a Superman watch that I bought about 10 years ago, but the battery died, and I thought, well, this is a good excuse to put it back and keep it in pristine condition. The only other problem with it, aside from terrible battery, was it was one of those big faces on it.
Oh yeah,
it's a beautiful watch. It's gorgeous, but have you ever tried to lift a cinder block with just your wrist? It's about twice that weight, and you're clamping it on, and I just couldn't raise my arm. I tell people I had a stroke or something. People bought that. So, and Jen Thompson, glad to see you here, darling. Jen Thompson, who is our hostess at the Indie Author Book Expo this coming Saturday at the Peoria Civic Center from 10 to 5. It's at 201 Southwest Jefferson Avenue, Peoria, Illinois. I will be there along with Carl Witzman, Donna Carleen, Amy Hale, and all kinds of cool people. So please come see us. Keisha Acuff, I believe, will be there. I think I saw something about that. And we're going to have a good time. That's what that voice said.
Whoa.
But anyway, it's going to be a good time. Jen, we love you. Mwah. And I look forward to seeing you Saturday. And Ted Davies Artistry says, I got you guys talking watches on your comic review show. Yes. Whoa.
Next week, I'll bring down my watch case.
There you go.
Well, next week, I'll talk about comics by Jingo because I love them so. We'll discuss. We'll probably slip in something about comic books. You never know. Maybe I won't even review a Superman book. What have we got here? Clyde Hall.
Watch face.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! The clock.
Clock King.
The Clock King. That's right.
Once again.
Oh my god! That book has it all.
It does. It does.
Does it?
Well, have it back into the comic book. You may now proceed. It's okay.
This is why we have Clyde here. He is a pro.
The
rest of us are
he
just
wrangles
amateurs.
us.
Yeah, we need it. And we love you, Jen. Mwah. We'll see you in a couple days. Looking forward to it. And I'm looking at the clock, and I think we have come to the end of this program. So it has been a blast, gentlemen, as always. And so we'll start with Brian, and we'll go around the room. Please tell everyone how they can keep up with your amazing exploits. And this is one last chance, Brian, to promote this book you're doing. Hey, Brian, how can people keep in touch with you and buy more stuff?
Well, the easiest way is to go to brianrodman.com. From there, you can go straight to the Kickstarter. It also has a Kickstarter countdown as well. And that will lead you straight to the page. You can sign up and follow the campaign and be notified upon launch tomorrow at noon for the nebulizer. You can also follow all my social media pages from brianrodman.com. It's a one-stop shop. And it also has an online store where now you can pre-order issue 7 of Memoirs of an Angel, as well as get caught up on the entire series. So go there and peruse. And absolutely hope to see you tomorrow at noon on Facebook Live as we launch.
Beautiful. I will do my best to be there. Mm-hmm. And now Eric Hawkins. How about you?
Yeah. What about it?
Okay, anyway, Clyde Hall. So anyway, Clyde.
So next week we'll be talking watches. You can find me on Twitter, ES_Hawkins. I occasionally post art out there once a week, right after this show. About an hour after this ends, I'm over on another channel doing a 2-hour live drawing competition. This week we're doing the Zombie World of Oz. But it's on a different channel than regular. We're going to be on Booster Kiwi's channel instead of Chester Busby's, because Chester lives in Japan. And they're replacing... He actually lives in a fishing village in Japan. But they're replacing his 5G tower, so he won't have internet until the end of the week. So we're going to be on one of the other guys' channels tonight. And I will warn anyone that wants to go watch it, thinks of it. We are pretty... It can get pretty rough. You think we're bad here? No, a lot worse. It's a fun show. I have a good time on there, but it is definitely not for everybody. But Zombie World of Oz is still on Indiegogo. I mean, it'll be out there at least till the mid of July, and I'll just cut it off then and start shipping stuff at the end of July, early August. But it is out there. You can go out there and back it, pre-order the book. We did fund, so everything's coming together, and soon Brian will be editing my pages, and I won't listen to anything he says. Thank you.
Do you ever? But on a serious note, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Seriously, very proud of you. And now here is the Clyde Hall, who, after following the Eric Hawkins. Clyde, how can people keep in touch with you?
I don't have a Kickstarter.
Someone start one for Clyde.
I'm without Kickstarter. However, you can find me on Facebook at Clyde Hall, or Radiating Positive Vibes with author Clyde Hall, where I try to come up with at least one thing a day that makes you smile, or maybe just makes you happy that you don't live where I do, or in my head. But as a longtime comic book fan and reader, you can find me every week here on Comic Book Spectrum, and you can find my writing at www.stormgate Press and Amazon releases such as Pulp Reality #2. I want to show you the Stephen Burke's art for my second B-Man story because it is, you did the Brubaker and Phillips stuff earlier, and I just think this is such in their vibe of pulp goodness.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
So, Pulp Reality #1 won 2 Pulp Factory Awards, and there are 3 more stories in this than there were in the first one with the same cover price. So check that out and check out my sites. Also, if you're on Twitter, I'm at CJ Hall 1984.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Brian. Appreciate you all. All right. Thank you, Clyde and Brian and Eric. Glad you're all here. And now I will close out the show here. Let's see here. I'm going to mute all those guys because I don't need the heckling. Anyway, folks, thank you for watching Comic Book Spectrum. Thank you for hosting this adventure. Great fun for all. Appreciate you being here, Cindy. CKOEPP.com. Sign up for that free newsletter. And Ted Davies Artistry, Fab4 Forever. Thanks, gentlemen. Thank you, Ted. We love you, man. Thank you for being here. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate your support of this show. We're glad we can be a positive voice for comics, even when we get a little wacky sometimes. And but anyway, we're glad that you're here watching the show and supporting us. Thank you for sharing the show. Please share this. If you're watching on Facebook, please give us a like if you've enjoyed any part of it. Also, please like the page you're watching it on, as to show your hosts that you appreciate their good taste in comic book broadcasts. And if you're watching us on Facebook, please thank you to the 505 people that are watching, that have been signed up for this show. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do. We've got a lot of programming coming up that I think you'll appreciate. And please give this video a thumbs up because it helps in the wonderful algorithms that we fight constantly. So anyway, thank you also to Plasma Fire Graphics for sponsoring this episode. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you. Also, thank you to the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. Here it is. Take a screenshot of that. We've got your entertainment and education covered 7 days a week. Tomorrow morning, we're going to be starting with a new episode of Never Mind the Furthermore. Yes, the lout that skipped out on Wednesday is back. He's going to talk about his brush with the jury duty system and how he escaped its vile clutches. So anyway, please tune into that. That'll be 10 a.m., 9 a.m. Central, where you're watching this right now. And enjoy our Friday selection of shows. We've got Drinking with the Davies at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Then Michaela Jade's Tidbits and Scribbles at 7. Then Nicholas Anthony Tockard with the Historical Fencing Guild at 8. Please check them all out on YouTube because that's where you get the best picture and sound. Also, please check out Creative is Hale going on right now. Amy and John Hale are interviewing someone creative, and you will love it because they are fantastic. And followed by at 9, Stupid O'Clock, great conversation show with Joe Dog McKeel. We don't know what they're going to talk about. They don't either, but that's the fun of the show. Please check it out and become part of the conversation. Also, being part of our show, we want to thank our patrons. Patreon is a subscription service where every month you can support your favorite creators directly with a modest stipend. And these are the folks that help keep this show moving and on the air. We appreciate and love them all. And also check them out. Some of them have their own Patreon pages. You can support them as well. But go to my page at www.patreon.com/Brian Morris so that you can see what we give you in return for your financial support. We thank you very much. And also please check out Snow Ambition, number 4 in the Snow Short series. If you like quick reads, crime and adventure, I've got the stuff for you. Abraham Snow Adventure by me. It's on Amazon right now in ebook form for 99 cents. So pick that up and please leave a review when you are done. Please, please, please. And let me get set up for the next shot here. There we go. Okay. Anyway, thank you all for watching issue 14 of Comic Book Spectrum. We'll be back next Thursday night at 7 p.m. And we hope you have a great rest of your evening. Enjoy the rest of the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. And we'll see you tomorrow morning on Never Mind the Furthermore. And as always, folks, remember, stay smart, stay safe, wash your hands, and never apologize for being awesome. Have a great evening and keep reading those funny books.
southwest of Chicago, there is a small, secluded cemetery known as Bachelor's Grove, and it is one of the most haunted places in the United States. Author Brian K. Morris brings you a collection of writings that will help you navigate this ghostly graveyard, if you dare. The Haunting Scripts of Bachelor's Grove is available now on Amazon.com. Get your copy today.
Thank you for watching Comic Book Spectrum, a Rising Tide Broadcast Network production. Please join us next week for another look at comics, past, present, and future. If you enjoyed this, please give the show a like and be sure to subscribe and share it with your friends. To receive our free monthly newsletter, go to www.risingtide.pub and be sure to give the Rising Tide Broadcast Network page on Facebook a like in order to receive news about upcoming shows including Clever Title Pending, Stupid O'Clock, Clever as Hail, Comics Chaos and Sass, Tidbits and Scribbles, the Historical Fencing Guild, and Nevermind the Furthermore. See you next week.